Kia ora. Coming to you from the Yarra Valley, Victoria. My name's Tom Forrest. I wish I was in beautiful Aotearoa, but the vineyards of the Yarra Valley is the next best thing, and we can learn so much from this experienced agricultural commodity. By way of quick introduction, I'm an agronomist who's been working in commercial cultivation for around 9 years. I was awarded the only Churchill Fellowship for cannabis agronomy. This meant that I travelled to 10 countries over 4 months to prepare a white paper and a short film on behalf of the Winston Churchill Memorial Trust, looking at cannabis agronomy, culture and regulations. I've since worked with public and private companies, universities and government to provide agronomic cannabis solutions. In full disclosure of current employment, I'm the co-founder of an equipment supplier, Indicated Technology, based in South Australia. I'm also the co-founder and cultivation director of Puro New Zealand, the largest and only certified organic cultivator in Australia and New Zealand. Before we get into the key topics, I want to provide an overview of the cannabis sector as it currently stands, as this influences cultivator preferences, as discussed in my Churchill Fellowship film. Medical cannabis was legalised in Australia in 2016 with the formation of the Office of Drug Control as the regulatory body. In 2018, New Zealand amended the Misuse of Drugs Act, allowing for medical cannabis for terminal patients. There's been progression in both countries, with access to flower, oils, and capsules. These are primarily imported products used by scripted patients. Simultaneously, a small number of groups have been licensed to cultivate medicinal cannabis, and today I'll cover an overview of their challenges, progress, technologies, and methodologies. Unfortunately in Australia, there are a number of barriers to entry due to a convoluted licensing framework and tough regulations. This has resulted in a slow start to the industry, with only a handful of facilities operational after overcoming these regulatory hurdles. In New Zealand, there are also a small number of facilities operational in the space, primarily for research and development with plans to scale. Regarding cannabis agronomy, this presentation will cover the relevant technologies and the pros and cons of indoor and outdoor cultivation. I'll also touch on the cost of goods sold and the respective goals of each cultivation method, along with my thoughts on what the future might hold with different cultivation methods for different commodities and the importance of collaboration. Technology in agriculture is fascinating. We are rapidly progressing in all areas, from breeding to commercial cultivation and processing. Starting with trait and market-driven breeding programs and monitoring with cloud-based systems and Internet of Things solutions. And finishing with processing using novel technologies from machine trimmers to bud sorters and into advanced manufacturing. CEA, or Controlled Environment Agriculture, both glasshouse and indoor artificial environments are able to actively monitor all key parameters of growth. This includes temperature, relative humidity and vapor pressure deficit, carbon dioxide levels, airflow speeds, fertigation and irrigation, along with solar gain, light quantity and quality. We can use these hardware and software solutions to convert this data into parameters for growth and control over our equipment. For example, balancing our airflow components with sunlight and solar gain, or adjusting our fertigation according to a changing environment. Outdoors, in field-grown cultivation, digital solutions are giving farmers unique insights into the relationships of weather, soil, and crop growth. Even using AI to predict future weather conditions so farmers can make smarter and more risk-averse decisions. This includes the use of drones to precisely map fields, measure crop health, and even apply targeted sprays or a release of beneficial predators precisely where they're needed. So in both indoor and outdoor cultivation, technology has advanced crop monitoring, and that is vital for making correct decisions. This includes the imaging or manual recording of root health, plant growth, and leaf conditions, right through to harvest data and batch tracking. There are a number of companies providing solutions to amalgamate this data into useful information and present it in an intuitive user interface. Lastly, we're seeing incredible progress in the improvement of labour allocation and machinery for efficient workflow. From calculating specific staff task requirements to robotics enhancing key cultivation jobs, software and automation is having a profound effect on our facility design and operations. Automation is occurring within environmental systems to provide predictive and proactive control. For example, lights turning on in a glasshouse if a cloudy day is forecast, or shade cloths being adjusted before light intensity or heat become detrimental. While automation is occurring with fertigation and irrigation, there are some limitations here, such as the skilled staff needed to mix up specific fertilizer batches. And we have the concerning global challenge of fertilizer shortages, and that's an important topic for another discussion. One area that I find fascinating is the emergence of fit-for-purpose or cannabis-specific post-harvest processing technologies. This now even includes machine bucking, milling, trimming, and even bud sorting technology that can arrange flowers by size for consistency in future packaging. These automation processes lead to a lower cost of goods sold, which segues nicely into my next topic. As published in my Churchill Fellowship report, it was evident that indoor cannabis facilities look to produce flower for between $3 to $6 per gram of finished, saleable flower. Contrastingly with glasshouses, who look to produce cannabis for less than $1 per gram. However, it's evident from facilities that I've been to, most groups are producing closer to $3 to $4. And outdoor cultivators are aiming to produce for between 10 to 50 cents. However, this methodology does have the highest risk. This figure drastically varies depending on the level of product quality, processing, accreditations, and compliance. There is a significant difference between compliant, accredited, outdoor-grown cannabis with traceability to source and traceability of inputs, plus batch tracking compared to simply growing cannabis outdoors. Which really begs the question, what is the best way to grow cannabis? And I'll quote the great John Barnett in my answer. It depends.
It totally depends. It depends off the plant. It depends. Again, I hate to say it depends.
I could run an entire seminar on the pros and cons of different methods, but the takeaway is that different methods produce different commodities suitable for varying markets. Pharmaceutical replication with year-round production, an indoor facility will do the trick. Research and breeding, again, an indoor controlled environment is crucial here. Producing high-quality flowers year-round, a sealed or semi-sealed glasshouse with suitable HVAC can best achieve this. Low-cost annual production with ample suitable land, the outdoor cultivation method might be for you, but only in certain locations. Cannabis can grow almost anywhere, but there are specific locations and climates that are better suited. The local regulations and compliance standards also influence which method is the most suitable. This affects the cost of security, amongst other factors such as the suitability of consumables. There are varying levels of protected cropping, as well as different standards of outdoor cultivation. Each provides unique opportunities, as well as its own set of challenges, particularly when operating as a compliant company in the pharmaceutical space. Validation and traceability is key. Understanding your operations and the limitations of your facility and your methodologies. Knowing your inputs and your consumables. Validation is everything. At Puro, with our multiple cultivation sites and methodologies, we often joke that we produce two commodities, cannabis and documentation. Regardless of the cultivation method that you believe is most suitable for your target market, it is your QA and QC and compliance teams that are the MVP. They are the ones that will ensure your product is saleable into the lawful local and international marketplace. So moving ahead in the industry, what will affect our cultivation method and type of facility? Regulatory evolution is happening, and this will allow for greater patient access and the development of new and exciting product types. Simultaneously, we'll see better doctor and patient education, and this in turn will steer the value chain of cannabis. For example, a clinic may request a certain profile of cannabinoids and terpenes to suit a certain patient type or ailment. This will require precision agriculture and further work in cultivar stability and replication. One challenge will be the nomenclature of cannabis. We're currently working with a very flawed system of cannabis naming standards. Ask me more about this after the presentation. I think we'll also see an increase in the importance and understanding of the entourage effect and unique cannabinoid and terpene profiles. This will encourage new research in breeding and chemotype production. This will allow specific profiles for certain ailments with novel delivery methods that utilize full spectrum commodities. As a cultivator, I'm excited to see the growth in novel extraction methods and the effect on our cultivation and post-harvest processing preferences, bringing our productivity and efficiency to new levels. Finally, and most importantly, I firmly believe there are opportunities for growth with collaboration. For example, a value chain where farms produce for multiple extraction types to value add with unique commodities. We need to look at unique supply chain formations, which question the model of vertically integrated or a collaborative approach to product development. And this will include contract grower models with specific farm sites to produce unique commodities as demanded by the market. Not to mention the market disruption provided by breeders developing unique chemovars and how this will affect product formulation and patient demand. And finally, outside of the commercial IP realm, we look to collaboration in research. Like other agricultural commodities, we need to work together. I believe the New Zealand Medical Cannabis Council is a fantastic example of how this can work. Through that model, we can share information and findings about cultivar development and classification. Farmers can discuss agronomic challenges in their region, allowing more risk-averse and educated cultivation, providing a strong foundation for the local industry. From open days and industry events, just like this one, we need to drop the secret sauce mentality from the cannabis industry. This also includes a discussion about amnesty for existing cultivators, those that were criminalised for gardening during Prohibition. That's another big conversation that we need to have. I believe in a local industry that collaborates and grows together and avoids repeating mistakes that were made worldwide. I truly believe New Zealand has the agricultural prowess, the climate, the infrastructure, and the right approach to make an impact on the worldwide cannabis space. And I'm extremely privileged and proud to be even a small part in helping to make that happen. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation, and please don't hesitate to contact me. You can reach me via email or social media, and I look forward to hearing from you.